Hello and welcome back to the Mind Your Business with AI podcast. So today I'm joined by Jeff SanGeorge. With Jeff, how long have we been friends at this point? Like 7, 8 years?
Yeah, I was gonna say closer to 10, but yeah, at least 7 or 8
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
So you're kind of like one of the original people that I ran into working in downtown Greensboro at the co-working space.
Right.
And so you've run. Has it been the entire time that we've known each other that you've run Magnetic Ideas?
Yes. Yeah. I took some time aside to work for a kind of a larger company, but I was still independent, still
Yeah.
working under Magnet. But I was with part of a collective for a while. Now I'm back working full time
Gotcha.
for myself.
So feel free to what is Magnetic Ideas, and also what's your background?
Yeah. Okay. So my background is in, I started in graphic design and it was in the publishing world for a while, and eventually saw the writing on the wall. I knew that publishing was dying, and I needed to get to be part of the web, and so I dove in like full blast. At the time I took HTML classes, CSS, and I was learning web technologies, and started my first company in 2008. And that time was focusing on building websites, graphic design work, but also I quickly got into social media, and was really embraced that. That was when social media was becoming just relevant for businesses. So I got into it, but I had always been fascinated with search. Like, how do people find a website? Like, social media is, of course, one of those, people get to your website from the social media, and you build your web presence out. But, when someone types in what Google calls the zero moment of truth, when they go to the keyboard and they start typing in that query and they have that intent to do something, how do you capture them at that time? It's always seemed like the most opportune time to be in front of somebody when they're thinking about it. So from there, I just started focusing on SEO, pay-per-click marketing, building websites, some marketing automation. But SEO has been my focus, and I still build websites, and I still do a lot of pay-per-click marketing as well. So that's kind of what Magnetic Ideas is about. Yeah.
Well, I guess AI has kind of come in and transformed everything.
That's
so
right.
so we've had two meetups, and you've been at both of those, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of curious as to what is your specific interest in AI, and how is it going to be impacting marketing from your perspective?
Yeah, it's impacting marketing in a lot of ways. And, I think there's waves of the ways it's affecting marketing. I think the first wave is of course, the adoption. And the adoption, it's interesting, the mass adoption of AI has outpaced the adoption of the iPhone and the tablet, which were previously breaking records as far as technology adoption. So all of a sudden, everybody's using it. So the first wave is, and everybody's using ChatGPT to ask for recipes and for, ask questions and, cheat on homework and things like that, and make crappy blog posts. So that's the first phase. But now we're at the phase where people are starting to actually use AI for really good reasons and to use it smartly. And it's changed it in so many ways. There's areas like predictive analytics that are just moving really fast. But one of the increased efficiency is one of the big things I think that people get out of using AI these days.
You're talking about for content creation?
Yeah, So you could build a better piece of content in less time,
right,
and more strategically.
Especially if you're using generative AI and you've also kind of given it a role.
Yes,
right. You write in this style. This is our audience. These are kind of the words that we use.
That's right.
Because I've started using it for my YouTube channel. I have a very specific script of write out the description in this way, and then what's kind of cool from a search engine optimization standpoint is that I can also then say include these sets of keywords organically.
That's right.
Don't just stuff it in there, because it's and we were talking before we hit record of. It seems like with the search engine optimization space, it's starting to reward quality over quantity at this point.
Yes.
So
it has been for a while.
If you're just stuffing
if you're doing keyword stuffing.
Well, it's interesting because Juan Hernandez, who was on here, man, it must have been like a month and a half ago.
Okay.
He brought up the topic of how much content is going to be out there now that we have AI.
Right.
And I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, like, I mean, you're in the marketing space, you've been in the social media space.
Yeah.
Do you think that, you know, the next 5-10 years, we're just going to be inundated with like just AI slop all over the internet?
I think that's happening now. I mean, the amount of content on the web is just going exponentially because it's so much easier to create a piece of content these days. But yeah, I think we're in the content slop period now.
But I think people are going to get tired of that, and it's going to like they're going to very quickly, like I've noticed this with the students I'm working with, like they're very Gen Z seems to be so much more skeptical of anything online than millennials. Like millennials just are like, wow, everything's amazing and we're going to be rich tomorrow, and it's like this optimism. That Gen Z seems like there's this skepticism of, is this real? What's the intention behind the post?
Right.
And if it's
smart.
like, yeah, they're much more
that's pragmatic.
internet savvy. I don't know. Like,
well, the digital
media
native,
literacy
right,
is much higher, probably.
The literacy, and so they can see through the lies, and they know why people are. Yeah, because they understand that there's so many scammers out there trying to constantly get them at some angle. Like, what's their angle here?
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, millennials, we came up with like the kind of the influencer culture, and everybody was like, I want to aspire to be like them.
That's right.
And now I think it's kind of hack or like cringy to like, you know, be that person that's always me, you know, sharing stuff. And it's, I don't know. It is interesting how much content is out there, but what would you say, like 80%? 95%, 99% is just like low quality, low frequency.
Yeah, I wish I had the numbers, but the amount of stuff that gets published and the amount of stuff that gets indexed in Google is astronomical every day. And so yeah, quantity over quantity has been the focus really for some years with SEO because people, you know, it used to be, you know, I had a blog back in 2006. And I would publish something, and it was on gluten-free cooking, and there wasn't much out there, right? So I would publish a blog, and I would get a lot of attention for it. And it wasn't necessarily high quality. I mean, some of my recipes were good and stuff, and some were better than others, but it was easy to rank for stuff. Yeah. But if I wrote a gluten-free blog right now, there's hundreds of high-quality people that have been publishing gluten-free blogs for years, and so they have the authority and the trust. Right. And so for me to compete against them in that space, just starting up, it would be like impossible.
It's just impossible.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they have like first movers advantage at that point. Like they've like established themselves as an authority figure.
They have an advantage. And so, so that gets us really to, in the space of SEO, authority is like one of this it's you know, it used to be say content is king. I would almost say at this point, authority is king. Because, you know, and I alluded to this, we talked about this before, but, you know, we've been in an information age for a long time. And you know, this is debatable. And I don't think the information age it just didn't end. But information used to be, you know, knowledge is power. So if you had information, you know, you had an advantage. But now information is available to us at any time. Yeah. And so that's not the focus anymore. It's the quality and the authority of the information that makes it stand apart.
Gotcha. So how do you go about building authority then? I mean, is that kind of like what you do at Magnetic Ideas?
So that's what we're doing with clients. Yeah, with my SEO clients is we're working to build authority. So, you know, one of the main things you could do is Google's got this algorithm and they've had it out for a while. It's called EEAT. So it stands for expertise, experience, authority, and trustworthiness. Okay. And so if you know, using that criteria, trying to build those four things to build authority, you approach your pieces of content differently. One of the things that you would do is so here's something that's come up lately. It's called content chunks. And this isn't a new concept, but basically you're breaking your content into small pieces that are easily digestible. not just by consumers, but also by AI. So if AI is looking for a snippet for a question that someone just asked, then, and if you're an authoritative website, it's going to pull that snippet right out and stick it right at the top of the, right at the top of the search
So is that
box.
the AI overview thing?
That's the AI overview thing.
Okay,
yes.
so is there a way that you go about building out that snippet, or is it just the way you write? Like it's a 3-sentence paragraph that like really sums it all up?
It's all of the above. Like it needs to be, you need to demonstrate expertise in that. You need to really, what I would recommend, mark it up using schema markup. So schema is what you call microdata. Microdata is like metadata. It's something that's published on the website, but you don't see it.
Okay.
It's behind the scenes, right? It's there, and it's something that it's something for machines to read.
It's like metadata. It's like data about the data.
That's right. Yeah. It's microdata. And so there's a standard called schema.org. And so, for example, if you're answering a FAQ, if you mark it up with FAQ microdata, then the LLMs or Google is going to understand, like, okay, this is a question and an answer format.
Okay.
And they're gonna gravitate towards those a lot of times.
Gotcha.
But there's a lot of different type of schema, and schema could be, it's mostly about entities: a person, a place, a thing, an event, a company, an individual.
Okay.
And so as you mark that information up, then they understand it better. And to me, SEO is so much of it is about, no mutual mystification between you and the search engines. And in this case, the LLMs is also the large language model. You want them to understand what you're doing. And so what you do is you hand them information in a way that they can understand it easily. So content chunks is just one way to do that.
Okay.
The example is just, if you have a blog post, before you might have just written the whole thing. Now you might write intro, what's the dilemma, and then here's the approach, as a subheader, and then conclusion. That way you're breaking it up into easily digestible chunks for users and for the search engines and the LLMs to understand.
Gotcha. So the theme that I'm kind of getting at now, I don't know if you would say we're post-informational age. It's like the challenge is no longer it's 2006 and you're writing the gluten-free blog.
Yeah.
You're the only show in town. We have 50 of those.
Yeah.
Which one's the best? Which one is
thousand?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Gluten-free, it's probably a few thousand. It's like synthesizing it or analyzing it or like making something big into like, here's a sentence or here's 3 sentences or here's that chunk.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, and it seems like that's kind of a through line that I'm seeing. Like, if I were a high school student, the skill that I would want to teach a high school student or my college students is how to take these huge amounts of data or information and just like condense it down into a specific answer.
Yeah.
And how do you go about doing that? I mean, you could do it manually, but obviously like with these Gen AI tools.
That's right.
Or there are even tools that are like custom built,
Right.
For example, in Canva, they've got a bunch of AI, functionality within there to be able to create images or whatever videos or whatever have you.
Yeah. So you're saying how would you go ahead about chunking it down? Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I would be remiss if I didn't use AI in this point to use that.
So are you using Gen AI to do the chunking?
Yeah,
like
a lot of times. I mean, not always. And so with some of my clients, they have writers on staff, and I work with copywriters a lot. And so the copywriters will do the work. I mean, when I'm doing it myself, I do okay with copy, but I could use some help too. And honestly, when it comes to getting clarity about a subject, Gen AI has the objectivity to give it to you sometimes in a light that I just can't see myself.
Gotcha.
And so I'm using Genesis 2.5 and I'm asking for, it to do some research and to explain complex topics.
I haven't heard of Genesis 2.5. What's that?
It's Google's. If you have Google Suite, it comes with it.
Okay.
Kind of, and 2.5 is like their newest model, and it's good because it gives a lot of citations, and so help reduce hallucinations.
Gotcha.
Hopefully. So yeah, I've been using it a lot, and yeah, I'll ask it to take a complex idea and simplify it down into every layman's
I've noticed
language.
like ChatGPT is amazing at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can also like, I've gotten to a point which I'm still, I would say I'm like walking. I'm not crawling. I'm not running, but like I'm like going at a decent pace. I've started to have like more back and forth conversations. Like I'll spend more time prompting.
Yeah.
And like putting a more detailed entry in, but then it'll shoot something back to me, and then I'll go in and say like, oh, change this from bullet point to paragraph form.
Right.
Use these keywords. Change
Clarify
it around.
this or something.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's like a muscle that you can kind of build up. Is like how to start working with the AI.
Yes.
It's a little bit weird, like how just instantaneous it is, but I'm already starting to kind of like just adapt to it.
It has a massive amount of information at its fingertips at any time. Yeah.
All right. So I guess let's back up for those who are listening that don't know, like what is SEO, and then what impact has AI had on that?
Yeah, great question. Yeah. Okay. So SEO is it's how to be found on Google. When someone types in a query and you sell, for example, widgets, and you want your widget to be first. So you might hire someone like myself, and we look at the type of queries that people type in. They might be asking, what is a widget? That's an informational query. They're trying to figure out, what it is. They might be doing it. They're just curious. They're doing some homework. They're just looking into general. That's the informational query. What we like are commercial queries or transactional queries. So what I would like is a query when someone says, like, type in, where do I buy a widget near me? That's the type of query.
So that's a long tail.
Yeah, that's
keyword.
a long tail keyword. Yeah.
As opposed to like concrete.
What is a widget? Or just type in.
Oh yeah, what is a widget? Yeah, widget size 5.
Yeah,
Greensboro.
Widget 2.0.
Yeah,
that's that we call a head keyword, as opposed to a long tail keyword. And that's
so it like shows intent. Like I'm closer to my buying.
Yeah, you're further down the marketing funnel at that point.
Right.
Like I have intent, I want to buy, and then us marketers are like, yes, we want to talk to that guy, or that person. So the search engines, this is interesting. So the way Google started out was because back in the day there was Yahoo, and when you typed in a query, the results were like, it just didn't look right. It looked, something was off about it. You knew that people were paying to be there, and it wasn't declared as an ad back then. Weren't
there some websites that would put the background as white and the text white and just put the keywords?
Oh yeah.
So like so it's kind of like an arms race of like,
how do we gain
there's
this
economic
system?
value of people searching for things online.
There's value, yeah.
And then how do you kind of build your fiefdom or your digital footprint so that
that's right.
those people come into that space?
Yeah, BMW was the infamous one who got busted for that one back in the day.
Really?
They were putting white text on a white background, trying to game the system early on.
That's funny.
But really what Google did that no one else did back then is they made search simple. They had a very simple interface.
Yeah.
How can we help you, or whatever their prompt was. And then what they did was look at backlinks.
Okay.
So backlinks to them were like, this is like a referral. Like this trust.
Or like in academia, like you're a cited source.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. So there's trust there where there's a backlink. And so it was at first about quantities. Like, okay, there is 5,000 backlinks to this page. There must be something really good on that page.
Right.
But as they got smarter, they basically were like, okay, we got to get away from backlinks. These are too easy to game.
Right.
Because people have
you can just create your own
networks.
Website. Yeah.
People have giant networks, PBN networks they call them, and just low quality links coming back. So then that's interesting. I was in SEO in 2012 when they launched, or was it 11, 12, when they launched Panda. And I actually had a client at the time. We were ranking #1 for a difficult keyword, nationwide keyword, but we had some low quality backlinks. And they released Panda, and I went from #1 to the next day we found it at like 537.
Whoa.
They buried us, man.
Okay,
and it was like, and that was another time. It's interesting where people were saying SEO is dead, because the game changed so much, because all of a sudden backlinks they're still important, and they're still, so ever since Google rolled out backlinks, they've been trying to get away from them, but they're still very reliant on backlinks, despite what they tell you. They tell you backlinks aren't important, but don't believe what Google tells you. Believe what actually works. And and the leaks that Google had in the last couple of years tell us exactly what Google's doing, right? We know what they're doing. No, they're not telling us the truth in these issues. But yeah, they've been trying to get away from backlinks. But backlinks, and so in a lot of ways, AI has helped Google to understand the quality of what people are saying and the content of the page. For example, there's an algorithm called BERT, B-E-R-T.
Okay.
And it's based on AI, what you might call traditional AI or older AI. It was released in 2018. And what BERT does is it understands natural language processing, what they call NLP. So it could understand the context of the word, like a word that has double meaning.
Like 8?
Like 8,
Like the number 8, or I ate dinner?
Well, yeah, linguistically,
well, I guess,
like that.
yeah, I'm thinking more so in like a YouTube video, like if I were to
in a
say
conversational
8.
way. But there's a lot. I can't think of a word right now, like a word that has double meaning, like oh shoot. I'm ill prepared for this. So they could understand the context of that. So by understanding the context, they understand, oh, this word means this instead of this.
Yeah.
I can look something up. But I don't have it.
Something I'm trying. Yeah, it's funny because like now that you've put me on the spot, I can't think of one either that has shoot. Oh yeah, shoot.
Yeah, right. Okay, so if someone says the word shoot, like they're not automatically assume that someone's going to have a gun handy.
Right, or it could be shooting basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot basketball. I'm going to shoot. So before they understand, okay, the word shoot. Oh, there must be related to firearms, right? Like, no, he's trying to make a basket, and this is the context is basketball. So what BERT did is it's called bidirectional. So it means that it actually takes and understands the words backwards and look at the context of the sentence backwards and forwards to fully understand it. That was the algorithm that BERT brought to it. So the more that they understand that natural language processing, and the better they could understand the context, and they can understand start to understand the quality better. So now the game is changing. But let me say this: Google has always wanted the very best quality link to be first, because Google wants, like any other network, like Facebook or anybody, they want you to go there and be very fully satisfied
and have a good experience.
They have a good experience. They want you to have the best experience possible. So Google started to understand, language and quality, and they look at things like, through Google Analytics, they look at things like dwell time, how long, the bounce rate, how long is somebody engaging with this content. But now, with AI coming into the picture, Google has started, we talked about this before, they started putting out AI overviews, right?
Right.
So an AI overview is taking a snippet from an authoritative website.
And that's that chunk you're talking about.
Content chunk. Yeah, they're taking a snippet from an authoritative website, and they're putting it at the very top. And for conversational queries or long tail queries, they're there all the time. Like if I was going to ask, like I'm into gardening, so if I would ask, what's the best soil pH for hydrangeas? The answer is going to pop up right there. I don't have to dig deeper. I don't have to click at any website. Right. So that's what they call a zero click. That's a zero click result. Okay. So you're answering it, but you're not getting the click through. So that's changed things quite a bit. And now, so we have the AI overviews, but the good thing is that, okay, you're not getting a click through to the website for someone who wants to figure out the pH of the soil or something like that. but Google is seeing you as an authority. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So if you were number 2, you might actually get a click-through. But you're number 1, so you're not getting a click-through, but Google is using you and they see you as an authority. And so the more that Google sees you as an authority, the more likely you're going to get more queries. And when it comes to those transactional queries, like how do I buy a hydrangea, that you're going to be linked because you're getting topical authority about that.
Yeah.
Widgets or hydrangeas or whatever.
Okay, so it's that's interesting. This is the first time I've heard of a 0-click search.
Oh yeah,
so I mean, it's
been around for a little while.
Yeah, that changes things quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because you're almost being punished for being the best.
That's right.
Would you say in the short term, in the long term?
In the long term, you're gaining topical authority, and that's kind of how you're gonna win the day.
And is that like a much more sustainable?
Yes, it's a long-term approach, right? It's not about short wins. It's about gaining authority over time and being seen as an authority. So when someone does search for something that's more commercial or transactional, then you're going to be the website that's going to be.
Gotcha. So if it was like, where do I buy hydrangea bulbs in Greensboro?
Right. Yeah, that's not a generative AI thing. That is more like that's going to show a more traditional search, like a search result.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it, once you become kind of the AI overview source, are you locked in, or is it like
no, you're not
daily
locked in. It changes weekly.
And what are the factors or levers that either put you in or pull you out of that AI overview?
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, to be able to have your content be open to AI and tell them, for example, there is something called an LLM. There is something called LLM dot, let me just look it up here. LLMS.txt. So it's LLMS.txt file.
Okay.
That's a new thing. It's been adopted in the last couple months. And if for anybody who knows SEO, in the root file of any website, we put something called robots.txt. And it says,
I've heard of that.
So that's to tell the Google bots and any other search engines that you could crawl all these pages, but don't crawl these pages. We want to keep these crawled. So it's just a message right to the Google bot. So the LLMS.txt does the same thing, but it talks only to large language models like Perplexity or Genesis or any of these other ones, and it'll tell them. And it's built in Markdown language. So it's not like HTML. It's a little easier to understand. Markdown is kind of an obscure coding language.
I've heard of that. I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, it's easier to understand. It's a lot. You could read it pretty easily. And what it does is giving them a synopsis of your pages, and it's just kind of laying out here, because it could crawl their pages and understand what they're about, but you're actually communicating directly with the LLMs and saying, hey, this is what our content is, and here's some highlights of the kind of content that we're offering. And it's just another way to help them understand your website and what you're about.
So is that less so related to like Google search and more like if I'm on ChatGPT and I say, what's the best pH or ChatGPT, give me a guide on growing hydrangeas in North Carolina.
That's right. It's about that, but also
so it would rank up there
too. But here's the other thing: is Google has released. We talked about AI overviews, but Google has released AI mode now, and they released it U.S. wide a few weeks ago, and it's a game changer because eventually the search, what they call the search results page or the SERP, S-E-R-P, is going to be completely different because it's now. I just read that 50% of people are adopting, 50% of Google users are adopting AI mode. And it's prompting you to do that. If you go into Google and it's saying, have you tried AI mode?
I don't think I've tried it yet. I don't think I've seen that.
It'll prompt you to do that. And then you go to AI mode and you're like, oh, this is great. And so instead of like the Google, query box being at the top, it's down at the bottom like you're used to ChatGPT, like the interface that we're used to with LLMs. And you ask it a question and it's going to answer right there. And it's using Genesis 2.5. It's using Google's AI Genesis. So it's a game changer. And so now we've got to rank for AI mode. And so, yeah, talking to an LLM is talking to Google in this case.
So it's interesting because I work quite a bit with SEO as far as like the content, video content creation stuff goes.
Right.
Do you know if there's any type of like SEO or AI stuff related to like YouTube, for example? Or are they automatically doing that stuff kind of on the back end?
No, YouTube has its own algorithms and it has its own, so ranking within YouTube is its own playground, right? It's a separate,
right?
It's a
But
separate thing.
but like on this very channel, this is a bit meta to talk about, but on this very channel, Mind Your Business with AI, I made a video called it's like data analysis for AI, intro to Copilot.
Okay.
And that's ranking on YouTube search, but it's also ranking on Google too.
It's ranking on Google. Yeah. Okay.
So like, I guess I was just which is a crazy thought to think about. Like, how am I mean, this is my second channel. It's not very popular. I mean, it's only got like 500 subscribers.
Yeah. You're just starting out.
How am I already ranking on, I mean, I guess.
They're looking at your authoritativness.
AI for data analysis.
It's using.
I mean, I think I did 3. Like I did a series. I did 3 of them in a series.
Oh, so I guess that's helpful.
I guess I'm
the fact that you had that series and you had 3 of them. That's probably giving you some authority. And that's a good question. Google is going to pull in. They're going to pull in video results because they know that video is relevant, and they're looking for topical and also current information too. So they're not looking at AI results from, someone talking about AI from 3 years ago.
Okay.
They're looking about current stuff as well.
So it's hyper competitive, but it's also not as much of a moat around the established players as like you would think, like starting a new YouTube channel, for example.
Well, yeah, it's interesting, but I think also you're a known entity. Like, so you have another successful YouTube channel. So I'm sure they took that into account.
Do you think they can tell? Because one's with my Silvertone email address, one's with my
it's a different
JD
email address, but it's your name associated, John David Arison.
Oh,
right. So
interesting.
You're an entity.
Is there a way that I can just like look up like my brand name like and see like a ranking or like I don't know, like there's got to be an AI for that, right?
There's a way to I mean, I have software. I use SEMrush, and so we could look up and see, the type of authority around your name and topical things like that. But, AI and analytics, they might be separate, but there's definitely some overlap there.
Well, literally, that's I hit the nail on the head with AI for data analysis.
Yeah, that right.
It's
so
both of those.
And that's probably also, if I did some keyword research for AI for data analysis, I'm sure that's something that people are looking up. Yeah. So you probably did some.
Well, it was just like a tutorial on Copilot.
Yeah.
And I just did a screen recording, and it was pretty straight to the point.
And you're talking about data analysis, which is also your level. That's your expertise.
Right.
Already. So you really just kind of you've relied on your existing
pivoted into that. I mean, that's right. What I'm trying to pull off.
That's it. Yeah.
We were talking about this on LinkedIn.
That's
LinkedIn,
right.
It's not working at all. Like the post that when I post about analytics, I get a ton of engagement.
Yeah. That's
when
right.
I post about AI, it's just a fraction.
It's a fraction of it. And
so I don't know.
There's a lot of noise about AI right now too. You know what I mean? It's hard to get that signal, the clear signal, without so many people talking about AI right now.
But I guess SEO seems more relevant to me on YouTube than it does on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong about that?
And LinkedIn, like the optimization.
Because people don't search for information on LinkedIn, really.
Not as much. They're relying. It's more of like a true social network where they're relying on their contacts and their, and the people that they follow for information. Yeah. Yeah. That's
gotcha.
Right. I don't search topics on LinkedIn. I don't think that's like a common behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more about searching the individual. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. This has been an awesome conversation. I did want to kind of close out this podcast with, did you have any like advice or tips on how to rank on search kind of in this new AI space?
Okay. I've touched on most of them. So first, I would pay highly attention to the EEAT algorithm.
Okay.
Trying to satisfy that algorithm. expertise. I'm sorry. It's it's experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Okay.
Second, I would use content chunks. Chunk up your content
Gotcha.
into easily digestible pieces. Third, mark up your content with structured data. That's going to be an important one. The web is relying on this structure more and more now with LLMs trying to understand it. And then the next thing I would say is just take this, use a LLMs.txt file, and put it in. And if you want to find out more about that, there's a website called LLMstxt.org.
Okay.
And that's where you find out about how to use that file, how to build it, where to place it, and all that information. So that's LLMs.txt.org. So that's super helpful. And after that, I would say, focus on entities. Entities being your company, yourself, and building expertise around those areas.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jeff SanGeorge, thank you for coming, and I'm looking forward to our meetup in a few weeks.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait.